uh, like we would be continuing with the same with the Docker command itself today also, and we will try to learn some more extra things in the Docker commands. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, let me quickly get into the AWS console. Hopefully, our Docker VM or whatever we have assigned, right? That is there. Not sure. I think I've removed it last week. ECG27. Okay, so I've logged in into my AWS console, and if I check it out, let me check if I have an image. I don't have it, so let me quickly launch a instance. So I think I removed it. I will try to take the same Amazon Linux itself with the same configuration. I think we are repeating the same thing again for installing Docker, but that is fine. So we'll be choosing the T2 tier micro because it's a free. And here nothing, you have to just say next. Then here nothing, you have to just add whatever the storage is assigned. Here you have to give the tag, same thing, Docker host, right? And here you will say next. You have to give the security. You have already created a security group for this. I'll say review and I'll say launch. So launching it asks for me for providing my RSA key, whatever the key you have. So basically I will try to give the same thing because last time I created this key pair, then I'll say launch. So here, this is nothing but your, like Amazon, Linux, which is provided by the Amazon itself, actually. So, so we have to quickly install the Docker, right? Here. So we have already learned. So let me open the notepad and okay, yeah, Docker notes. Yeah. So here, today we are starting with the day
Sir,
4.
for me, screen is not visible, sir. What about others? Sorry for the interruption.
Uh,
We are
screen is,
able to see. We are able to see Rajesh.
what
Okay,
about
okay.
you, Rajesh?
Yeah, just to names itself. Okay, sir. I will check it. Okay, okay.
No, or is it not visible or what? Is it not viewable? Now I opened the notepad. Can you see the notepad now?
No, sir. I think so.
Then you can reconnect it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will do it. Okay,
Log
thank
out
you.
and reconnect it again. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. So here, so we have logged in. We have logged into the console, and we could see that actually this is up and running. So just try to do a connect, and then like here we'll copy this. Okay. So you are trying to do SSH here, right? You are trying to do SSH to this machine by using the PEM key. So I have placed all my PEM keys under the downloads directory. So I'll get into the downloads. So I will do here right click and I'll try to open a bash shell here, which is a git bash. So I'll just paste this. So here I have logged in here. Now what happened? You might have seen me that I'm installing the Docker, package everything by using yum install. But here you could see that by default, whenever you log into this machine, the user which you have logged in is EC2 user. So if I execute who am I, it will show that the user is EC2 as the user. Now what I would do from now onwards, because we will be getting into some more, some more new topics like Docker volume or Docker networking and a few other stuffs, right? In going forward, what we'll do, we will be working on all the examples or everything through the root user itself. So let me switch to the root user. Root user. So you have to do a sudo su hyphen root. This is the command you have to do it. This is the command to switch to the super user or root user. Okay. Now after that, what you will do here? You will do a yum install Docker, can say start. So you are installing a Docker package, correct? So I'm installing the Docker. So the Docker installation is completed. You have to do a systemctl start and specify the Docker service name. This we have already learned the last session itself, right? Right? Or you can even do a restart also like this. And as you know, like if I reboot my system, if I want my Docker again to be running after the service restart, you have to do enable. So once you do enable, it will be act as a init service. It means that during the boot up time itself, this service will be started. The Docker service will be started. Now to make it, once you install one, once you restart the Docker service and all, it better you exit out once, better, okay, and try to re-log in again. Re-log in. Once you do a re-login, do a sudo su switch to the super user, okay, and then you can just check if the Docker is installed or not. If you execute Docker info, it should come the output as this way. If you get the output as this way, whatever the output you are seeing, it means that the Docker is completely installed properly. If there is an error, it is being thrown at the end, you need to fix that issue to make sure that the Docker is actually properly working. So this is what we have been seeing, and same installation we also did in Ubuntu also in the first station. But in the Ubuntu, we have to use the apt get install, right? Apt-get, that's a command. And we have already noted down all the steps here on itself, right? This is the steps actually, not this one. These are steps, right? We have maintained all the steps here. Here, this is for the Ubuntu. So installing Docker, that we have already maintained everything. Now, so last session, what we did, right? We just tried to, show how port mapping can be done through the container builder. Whenever you are running an application in a container inside and you want to access somewhere outside, so you have to enable a port mapping. Actually, it means that you have to specify the port. Once you specify the port, what is happening that through your public IP address and providing the port number for that specific container where it is running, you can actually access the content, or you can actually access the application which is running in that container. Now, what we'll do, we'll go few more things ahead now today. We'll start getting into some more understanding about some more important commands in Docker. So that's all. And we are still in the Docker basics itself. We have not got into any other major topics in Docker, right? The major topics in Docker is a Docker volume, Docker file, and Docker compose, or even Docker networking. These are all very, many more topics are there in the Docker to learn. But we are still in the basic now. So, okay, now let me do one thing. Let me run some command. Let me check if any container is running or not. Of course, that there are no containers which are running, right? So what I will do that, let me create a new container. Like for example, Docker container run -it interactive, right? That. Let me do one thing. Let me use a Ubuntu image, and then let me get into the. So you know that actually when I do a Docker container run and specify interactive mode IT, and you say that I want a Ubuntu image, so what the Docker will do, Docker will check in its current cache. Is there any, or it will check in the current image cache if there is an already Ubuntu image is there. If it is not there, what the Docker will do, Docker will try to connect to the Docker hub actually. Okay. Now what is happening that this machine has there is a configuration where I will let you what is the configuration file. It has a configuration such as that whatever your local machine you are having, right? Local machine that has information on the hub.docker.com. Basically, it's a it has that docker.io path. Actually, it means that this is nothing but it has a connectivity to the main Docker hub site, where all the images are placed. Correct. So what is a configuration file? I will tell you later. When I'm talking about hub.docker.com, right, at that time I will tell you like where it is. Okay. So now what is happening is that, so now what the, hold a second. I think I can pause it. Okay, sorry guys. Sure. Yeah. So what has happened is that actually when I try to do a Docker container run -8 Ubuntu, what it has did, right? What Docker has did, Docker has just checked. If you want to check which are all the images which are there in your machine, I'll say Docker image ls. If I do a Docker images, oh sorry, I'm in the container, right? So sorry. Now let me do this. Let me open one more. Let me open one more instance. So what I'll do, I'll copy it this one, and then I'll paste this. Okay, guys. Because here already, right, you have executed the bin bash, right? So you have get into the inside the shell of your Ubuntu, right? So you occupied the terminal with that. You can even come out by pressing Control PQ, right? That we learned. Okay, fine. Now what is happening is that actually I need to check. Now if you do a Docker image ls. So this is a command actually to check which are all the images which are there in your machine. So here you could see that the Ubuntu image is there. It means that while when you're running this container, Docker container run -80, what it does that it is actually checking whether in the Docker image cache, whether this image Ubuntu is already there. If not, what the Docker is doing, Docker is trying to connect to the hub.docker.com. That is the central repository, right? And when from there what is happening, it is trying to pull the latest image actually. So that's what you could see, that you could say that Ubuntu latest. Here while specifying the image, you're not specifying any particular version. Like for example, I say that Rajesh, I want to run a container of Docker 14.04. You can say like this: Docker container run -it Ubuntu. You want particularly 14.04, this version. Yes, this version is also available in the hub.docker.com. Here you are specifying the tag here. This we call the tag or the version actually. So it means that when you are telling the container to run this image actually, this image again, it is not there in your local, right? So what it will do, I'm sorry, I need to run this command here. So what is happening is that, see, again what is happening that it is unable to find it locally, 14.04. Again, it is actually pulling from the library. So it means that basically it is trying to pull the image from the hub.docker.com. And now if you say Docker image ls, I think I pulled the image, I run the container, but what happened, I'm not got into bin bash actually. It means that it has exited out. When you do a Docker container ls, now you could see that what happened, where I am, yeah. Here when I do a Docker container ls, hold a second guys, I think Docker container ls. Now you could see that actually that the image is running here, right? Now what is happening is that here when you want to pull any specific version, you have to specify the tag here, guys. Okay, you have to specify the tag here. That's what. Now what is happening is that actually here what is happening that here you might ask me the question, right? Like why Rajesh, why you didn't give the bash also? Still it got into it. Still the container is running, because what happened, this particular image, right? You go to 14.04. If you run it actually by default, it get inside the shell actually. That is the behavior of this, of this image. That's what happened, right? This image is running actually. Now, when you see that actually that if you are running any container, what it is doing that, as you know that by default, the Docker will give some specified name here. Here I could choose some name it will give, arbitrary name it will give. Suppose I don't want to give this name, or I want to give my own name while running the container. You know that very well, right? Docker container run -it -fn name web server, and then specify the image Ubuntu, and you can say /bin/bash. So now, okay, you have entered into the container. So made one thing. Let me come out from here and then say Docker container ls. Now you could see that actually it has given a name here. So you have to always, it is always a best practice, guys. Whenever you are running any container, you should always specify the name of the container. It is always better because it is very easy to manage the container with the help of a name. Otherwise, always you need to get to know about the container ID. So container ID means you can even manage the container ID also, but better that you give a name for that. So whenever you are running a container, you should give a name. Later tomorrow, what happened, right? Suppose that actually I want to rename the container name. Suppose that. Well, what I will do? Docker container. You have to say rename, and you can specify the container ID. Like you say that this is the container. I want to give the container. What the name you want to give? Suppose something like what is it? Apache server something. Apache server. Yeah. So now what is happening that you do a Docker container list. Now you could see that you have given a name for the container. So already some name was there. I have just renamed the container with the help of a rename command. So after Docker container, so you have to give rename, specify the image name, and specify the file or the name. So this is what it is.
Rajesh bhai, like for Ubuntu, it is defined like bin bash already it is defined. But how will come to know for which image we have to define the bin bash or respective cell which is required?
No, whatever the latest image you have, right? For that you need to provide the bin bash. The older image by default it used to. It means that whenever you run the container, it is to get inside the bin bash itself.
No, not for Ubuntu, Rajesh bhai. For other image, for new
Other image
image.
like HTTP, Apache 2, everything you have to give the shell, sir. For any other image which I have worked on it till now, you have to provide the bin bash actually. It will not by default, it will not get into any shell prompt. But there are some images, older images are there. It's all depend upon how they have written the Docker file by. Whatever the Ubuntu 14.04 or whichever version, right? What they have did, right? The developer has did, right? When they are writing this image, they have written such a way that once this image is getting running in the command, if you in the command, I will tell you about all these things. In the command, how they have maintained is actually like this actually. In the command, what they have did no /bin/bash -c bash, like this they have run by. They are actually they have mentioned in the Docker file like this actually. So what happened, right? It all depend upon the person who has developed that image actually. It means that what he has did means for the Ubuntu, just I'm saying you, for the Ubuntu 14.04 which we are running, in that image when he is executing, right, there is some command which he has been running, which by default will take into the /bin/bash. But when I am running a Ubuntu image, just Docker container run -it, let's say Ubuntu, what happens here? It will not get inside to the shell, right? I have to explicitly use /bin/bash, correct? Why? Because that the latest images, whatever we have, right, the latest images, what it will do that there is no CMD itself. Whoever has written the image for the Ubuntu, right, in his Docker file, please try to understand, in his Docker file, he has not mentioned this command itself. Hence, what is happening that once you run this, by default, what happened, right? It will just execute the /bin/bash and it will exit out from it. It means that the container will go to the stop state, right? Once you run it, correct? But
Right.
whereas for some images, yes, it's all depend upon how they have built that image. It means that while building this image, whatever the Docker file they have used, the Docker file which they have used, right? That's all depend upon how they have written this Docker file.
So best practice is, suppose we are downloading from global repository like dockerhub.com or yeah. So we have to go and we have to check the script, whatever Docker file is mentioned over there, like for Jenkins. If we are going to download the Jenkins/Jenkins, so we are not aware that we have to define the bin bash. So best practice should be,
you just run it actually. You just run it, you'll get to know.
Okay.
You have to only pull that image and run it and see it. What happened now, sir? By default, what happened now? See, Jenkins, see, whichever applications which are kind of a web service, right? Web servers, right? Right. Or else whichever the content which requires always the service to be run. What happened, right? They will enable this command line. For example, if I am running if I'm running a MySQL DB, what it will happen, right? It knows that actually when I run a container like this, Docker container run -it MySQL or -fn name, what is it? MySQL server, something like that, and then specify this image name. What this will do actually, basically, what it will do, it will occupy your terminal. It will occupy your terminal. It means that why? Because it occupies the terminal, because you are actually running a MySQL DB. MySQL DB should always be running, right? It should always be running. So what will happen, that it will occupy that terminal. It means that the service should be running in some port, and you could see that actually it will occupy this space. See here. Docker. Now you will see that when you do a Docker image ls, you could see that there is no MySQL. Correct? Now what you'll do, I'll say Docker. I want to pull the image MySQL. See, you're pulling the image from the hub.docker.com. This is little big image, sir. Actually, it will be around 250 MB. We'll see what is the size of the image later. Now, I'm just pulling that image. Now you could see that if I do a Docker image ls, now you could see that it has pulled the image, and it's the latest image, and 516 MB is the size actually. I was sticking 250. It is 5. It's a pretty big image actually. Now what is happening, that now I'll say Docker. Okay, sorry. Container run -it -fn name. Okay. What is happening, that name my SQL server MySQL. Okay, you have to specify what happened. You have to specify some labels are actually. What is it label? I will see what is it. That's some environment variable you have to pass here. You have to pass this environment variable. Okay. What to pass is, how to pass it, -e. We can just pass this MySQL allow empty password. Okay. Password equals to something like that. MySQL already there, so okay. I think I have to kill it, right? So basically what is happening, let's see, it is running a DB service now. It is running this container actually. Now we could see that it is actually occupied your terminal. Correct? Now what is happening, that your MySQL has started now. See, it is initialized, it has started now. See that MySQL to be ready for the connection. And it is using this socket actually to connect. And it is running the port number 3306. Now if you go to the other terminal, okay, I'll go to the terminal, Docker container ls. See, now you could see that your MySQL is running. Correct, sir?
Yeah, right.
So here what is happening, that it is occupied it. It means that what this container, whoever has written this image, right, the MySQL image, what he has did, no, he has basically written the command line that it has to restart the service, it has to start the service, and your MySQL DB has to run in some port. It will occupy it actually. If you do a Control C, no, it will do a Control C. See, you are not able to do it. It has completely occupied it. You have to do a Docker container rmf specify your now it get killed. See, now it has come out. Or else if you're running it, you say Rajesh, it has to run, but it should not occupy my things. You can use -d, detach. It will run it and it will detach from it. Now what happened? Docker container ls you do. See, your MySQL is running. Right? It is using this port number 3306. We can do a Docker container patch and specify the name or the container ID. You can get into the /bin/bash. That means that you can actually get into the shell actually. What happened? It has hanged there actually. Or else what happened, right? I have detached from it actually. Once I did a detachment, right? Actually, it is wrong. If you detach it, right? Basically, what is happening that you don't have the control to log in into the bin bash actually. That's what happened that you will not be able to do this actually. You have to do a control C. You will not be able to do. See, so this doesn't work out here.
So if this session, if you are going to close, so we'll come out with that SQL or it will be in background.
Right? No, here this has this. You are trying to attach to the MySQL DB. What happened? You are already detached from the terminal itself. Detach means what is happening that you are not running. You're running in a background. Actually, you are made that like a daemon process. So what happened? Right? I cannot kill it actually. But what I can do, I'll go here and did a psfnex. So this is what it is. A command it is running. I can do a kill -9. Let us see if it kills or not. 5651. Killing a process of this, and let us see if it has speed up. It has speed up now. It has killed the process. So, that's how I'm trying to tell that it depends. All depend upon how they have implemented the image actually. Okay, guys, clear? So now let us move forward now. So we have renamed it. Suppose like some container is running. If you do a Docker container ls, you could see that some Ubuntu image is still running here, right? It is running here. Now, suppose and it might be doing some service for you. Maybe some web server is running. In that web server, some applications running. You are accessing that application. Later, you don't want to access the application. You can say Docker container. What is it? Pause, 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 and specify the container name or the image ID. So when you're pausing it, it means that you are making into the halt state, right? Again, you do a Docker container ls. Now you could see here, see, it has been paused actually. Now whatever the service which has to be provided by this container, right, it will not serve. Again, you have to unpause means you can do the same thing with the unpause. This is very important, and sometimes they might ask in interview, like how you can pause, or you want to stop the, you don't want, you need not to stop the container, but you have to stop the service provided by the container or whatever the application is running. The user should not access it, even though it doesn't mean that you have to stop the container. That container should be running, so you have to say pause actually. So whenever you want to say pause, unpause, you can unpause it. Correct? Now what is happening that whenever you want to stop any container, you know this, right? Docker container, we have seen this earlier. Stop and specify the container ID or the name of the container like this. I can stop it actually. Right? It gets stopped actually. Again, I can start it also by specifying Docker container start and web server. But here, what is happening that there is one more command is there actually. If you say Docker container, suppose if I say wait and specify the container name. Now, what it is happening, right? When you do a Docker container wait specifying what the wait is doing, wait is waiting for this web server to be killed actually. Unless it is killed, this prompt will not come out. So sometime it happens that actually you want to wait for some event notification to happen. Once this happens, please exit out from that. So once the notification happens, whenever any event happens, what happened, right? You have to wait till that event happens. So in that way, what happened, right? You can actually pass a wait for that container which is running. So here what is happening that you are waiting for some event notification happens. Once some event notification happen to it, please exit out. Make this container to get killed. Here what is happening that you are waiting some event to happen. Now if I come to the other terminal, and if I do a docker container ls, okay, this container is running. Now we'll say docker container kill. I'll do and specify the container name. Now you see that you have killed it. Now in the other terminal, go here. See, it has come out from it, but it has shown you the exit of 137. 137 means actually 137 exit means forcibly killing the container or forcibly stopping the container. But whenever you're doing a docker container stop and specify the container name, what stop will do? Stop will safely stop the container. So when it safely stops, the exit value will be 0. Whenever you're forcing any content to stop forcibly, either by using a kill command like this, whatever we did in this terminal, right? It will abruptly kill that container. So if you do a docker container, what is it? Docker container ls-a. Now you could see that actually, see your container web server, it has forcibly stopped and it has exited out with the 137. Right now, if I say Docker container ls, you could see some more containers are running, right? Assume that I want to stop this one. So if it's a docker container stop and specify the container ID. So here what is happening? You stopped it. Now when I do a docker container ls-a, see what you did, right? You have what is that 4EEE, right? Here see it has made it to get to the exit of 127. So whenever you are actually, what is happening that whenever you are trying to kill or whenever the container is getting stopped, actually, like for example, if I say docker container run -it -fn name my image, my container, and just say Ubuntu. Okay. Now what is it? Now what is happening is that actually that now what is happening? It has got into the interactive mode. Now when I do an exit, actually you are exiting out from the container. Now when you do a docker container ls. So what is that image? My container, it is not running. So I will do a ls-a and just check. Now you could see that. See, can you see it is exit out with a 0? Whenever any safe exit is going on, right, it will always return the value 0. It has exit out safely. Whenever apart from 0, any other positive integer like 1, 27, 37, all these are not safely exited. It has been forcibly exited. So this is one interview question they'll ask. What is the difference between the kill and stop actually? Okay, so you have to explain with this way. Exit value 0 will always specify the container has safely exited, whereas other positive integer value like 137, 137, are forcibly killing that container. Correct, sir? Now, okay. Now, okay, fine. Now, what is happening is that actually, now let us do one thing. Let us learn some more things here. Like, for example, if you do a docker container -fn help, you could see that we are using some copy command here. Copy it. Now, what? Suppose, for example, suppose some container is running, sir. Assume that. Now, let us check if any containers are running. Docker container ls. So you could see that actually some container Ubuntu is still running. Okay. And we are given the name as an Apache. I want to copy some file under this running container. So assume that I'll create one file touch file 1.txt. Assume that something. I can even write some data into the file 1.txt. Okay, if I do a cat file 1, you could see that it is having this container. So I want to copy this file, which is there in a present working directory. I have to copy it from my system to a container which is running. So to do that, you have to say Docker container. You have to use the cp command. What is the file you want to copy? Copy, you have to copy file. Where you want to copy? I want to copy into this running container. Either you can give a container ID or either you can give the name. Both are same. So let me give a container ID. So I'm giving container ID. Okay, you want to copy this file to the container, but where you want to copy to the container? Sir, I want to copy it to the /temp directory. So it means that you have copied this file under this container ID to the /temp. How you can get to know? Docker container attach and specify the container ID. It means that you want to get into this bash shell. You want to use the attach. Now you got into the bash shell. Now you could see that go to the temp directory. You could see that under your container, under the temp directory, you could see this file. Clear, sir? Is it clear till here? So you know that this is one of the important question in interview they ask. Sir, I have some content. Suppose I have a very big tar file itself, tarball itself. I have a very big tarball, right? I have very big tarball. Like tarball is a collection. I want to place the whole tarball only. A lot of set of files only I want to copy it. It's not only one file. Some lot of combination of files I want to copy. Like for example, if I do a touch of AB, you could see that I'm creating so many files. I want to create the tarball for this whole file, and then I want to copy under. So you have to use the tar command, right? tar-cbf and specify the tarball like something a.tar, and then specify this file name. Specifying all the files like this. So you're creating a tarball of this a.tar. Now you want to copy this a.tar under temp. Simple thing, same thing. What do you want to do? You want to copy this complete tar file a.tar under the same path actually, under the same image, under the same path. See, like that you are copying it. So you can Docker container attach and specify this ID, container ID. Now you get into the already in temp directory. You could see that a.tar is there. Then here in this container you can extract it and you can make use of all those files, whatever is there in the tarball. So like that, this is one of the important questions where they ask an interview. So till here, any doubts you have? Any doubts till here? Shall we move further?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So we just try to understand some few commands actually. Like for example, now assume that actually like now this container is running. Docker container ls. You know that this Apache server is running. This container is running. Now you say that actually I want to give this container to my friend actually. I want to share the same running container to my friend. How to do that? It means that basically you have to export that actually. So how to do that? So it's a Docker container export the container name or the container ID. So I'll give the container ID. Here, what is happening that you can just say greater than, suppose something like web.tar. You can use either to greater than, or else there is one option, the -o option. -o option. So when you run it, what it does actually is it is creating a tarball with this name web.tar. So this is nothing but the image of your running container. This tarball, what happened, right? You will give to a friend over the pen drive, or you will give to him over the shared drive. I will same file now. I will try to send to my friends in my shared drive, in my Google shared drive. So what happened, right? He will try to download this file, and then what is happening that he has to import it actually. To import it, he has to use Docker image I think import is there. And what is that import file you're doing? Web.tar is an import file which you are doing, and then you have to create an image, right? Because you have to run that container, right? First you have to create an image for this. Out of this tar ball, first you have to create an image. So something like, I'll give something like a web image, something. So it means that actually you're importing this tar ball as an image. See, it has created an image. If you want to check that, you can say Docker image ls. Now you could see that you are having this web image. Correct, sir? Now what is happening? I can run this web image, Docker container, container run, like an IT. What is that image name? Web image. That's the image name, right? And you have to use /bin/. So now you go to the temp directory. You could see that, see all those files, whatever you have copied, right? So basically, earlier I had copied all those files, right? 8.tar into this image. The same image I sent to my file by exporting it. Later, what happened? I imported it, and I could see that my web image is running. If you go to the other terminal and you say Docker container ls, you could see that your actual web image is running. Now here, what is happening? That you went into a temp directory, just see. Okay, these are all the files, sir, which already it was there as a part of the original image. So here, what happened that you have to do two tasks, sir. One, what is happening that you want to first export it, and then you have to give that as a tarball to your friend. And what he will do, he will try to create an. You have to first import it as an image, as a web image, and then finally run this web image. And he can make sure that the same container is running. Till here, any doubts, sir? Suppose that okay, this is all cumbersome. I want to directly run an image, sir. Actually, I mean, I don't want to do that kind of all exporting and all. I don't want to do it actually. I don't want to do all those things actually. Then what is happening that you can there is an option is there, Docker container -l. If you see it actually, there's an option actually by name commit. It creates a new image from the container change itself. That you can actually create one more image, okay, one more image from the running container. How to do that actually? Docker container ls. So what I will do, the same image, I can create one more image by using the same Docker container commit and specify the commit ID or the container ID, sorry, container ID, and then specify the image, what image you want to do. Like I'll say that my web image, something. Now you could see that it has created one more image of this. Now it's a Docker image ls. Now you could see that one more image has created, right? Now you can run that. So it means that directly you can give this image to a friend. He don't want to do import and all. He can give that image. What he will do, he will say same thing. Docker container run -it. What is that? My web image /bin/. But now it is running. Go to the terminal. Say Docker container ls. Now you could see that my web image is also started running. It's the same of this image itself. So this web image or image, both are same of the same image. What is it? It is running, right, sir? You could even check the size also. Docker image ls. If you say, can you see the size of this image? See, 72 8 MB, 72 MB. Even this image, which was the base image which I was running, this is also 72.8 MB. All these three files are same only. Only with a different image name they are running actually, but the content or it is all is same actually. And you could see that even it is getting even a different image IDs also, like that. Clear, sir? Till here, any doubts you have? Okay. Any doubts, sir? So that we'll proceed further.
I can find.
Yes, Rajesh. We can proceed, sir.
Okay. Now what we'll do, let me log into the hub.docker.com. So I'll sign in. I already told you that you need to create an account. It's very simple to create an account. So this is my account. Now you could see that actually, like, this is my Docker Hub, and this is my account name actually. And if I click here, and if I go to the my profile, you could see that there is no repository. It means that you have not created any of your image. Okay, you have not created any of your image, and you have not uploaded any image. Like, suppose assume that actually I want to. So basically, what is happening is that actually, basically, a developer, what they will do, right? The developer, what they will do, they will sit here, and what they will do, like, they will create an image. They will create an image. Create an image. Create an image. How they will create an image means actually, basically, what is happening that either through a Docker file. So later we'll teach how to write a Docker file and all. Through a Docker file, they'll create a customized image. Once they create a customized image, what happened, right? What they will try to do that. Suppose assume that I have my developer and I have created an image, a very good image actually. Suppose something like my web service, whatever the image is, my web service, my web server. I have created an image, and you feel like actually like I want to share this the image to the whole world actually. Whole world I want to share this image. So what happened, right? There is a hub.docker.com. You know, right? This is a centralized server repository for the Docker, which is maintained hub.docker.com. So what is happening is that here what happens, right? Here you need to create an account. So you need to create your account, and using your account, what is happening is that, and as I said earlier, by default, what happened, right? Whatever the Docker hub.docker.com is a central repository. It supports both actually. It supports the private repository as well as public repository. Now, if you go here and if you try to search for any kind of a image, like for example, if I do a MySQL, now you could see that it will show us most of the image, whatever it's showing is all are public. All these are public images. See, when you do a MySQL, it is actually showing a MySQL, MariaDB, Percona, PHP-MyAdmin, lot of images related to the MySQL it is showing actually. And this is what all these are, most of them, all these are official images, which has been uploaded by the people. And this image can be used anywhere at your project work also. It means that it is an open source. It's a public image actually. And you could see that it has been downloaded for more than 1 billion times actually. And whenever you want to download in your system, you have to use this command docker pull and specify your image. So they are given it, and here if you come it here, so basically this image is built on a Linux machine on x86 processor, right? And you have some quick reference of it, like who developed this images and all, and what is the Docker community and what is the MySQL team. Basically, it is handled by the MySQL team, and they only have uploaded this official MySQL image actually, Docker image. And if you come down here, you will give some description about what is a MySQL and all, and how to get connected. That's what you could see here. I'm using a -e. -e means environment variable, and this is the variable name I'm using, and this is what you have to pass the value of the variable. And basically, he's trying to tell like how you can start your MySQL container in the command line by using the Docker command. Now, what is happening is that actually, if whenever you are actually pulling the image, right, what is happening is that actually it always put the latest image. If you're not specifying any here, or else if you want to specify anything, see here you have all the supported tags. It means these are the different versions. You could see that earlier the 5.6 was there, then 5.6.51, then 5.7, 5.7.6. These are all the tags actually. It means that these are all the other different versions of the same MySQL. So for every image, right, you will find this actually. You will find some reference. You'll also get to know about what are the tags you are or what are the versions you have. So basically, sometimes what happened, right, to your environment, right? For example, you are developing a Java application and you say that actually, Rajesh, I want an open JDK of 7 version itself. Right? OpenJDK. So whenever you want to have a Java, right? So you have to install the OpenJDK, and when you do an OpenJDK, right? See, you could see that you will get an official OpenJDK. But if you click on here, you could see here that it has various versions actually. Where you will get into it, you will get into the tags. Container RAM64 supported mode. Yes. Libraries. OpenJDK. Where are the tags? We'll get different versions. You'll find actually. Supported tags. Like this here, you have OpenJDK colon 11. Like that, you have OpenJDK colon 7, colon 8, colon 7. So your project might require to have OpenJDK 8 actually, not 11 or 9 or 10. So in that case, right, what happened, right, whenever you're pulling the image, right, Docker pull OpenJDK. If you do a Docker pull OpenJDK, it'll by default put the latest image, which is not, but it could be the latest could be 11 actually. But you don't want 11 you want only 8. Then you have to say Docker pull OpenJDK colon 8 or colon 9, whichever you want it. So that whatever the application you have developed, right, that should work in the OpenJDK 8 or 9, whatever. So like
That is why below is there view available tag is there. Just Docker image pull.
Docker
No,
image,
go up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, some tag I was just checking. So here, if you do a tag, actually here, OpenJDK 8 used there. Slim. I was even looking for some other server. It will display all the things actually. In one shot, it will display everything actually. I will let you know how to do that. Actually, I was seeing this one, but okay, I will tell you that actually. This is also correct only, but what is happening that I want in one place collectively. Like it will show like this, right? Like for example, whatever we saw in MySQL, right? Okay. In MySQL, here it was showing like this actually. See, like this. Like the same way for OpenJDK, it will show like this everything. OpenJDK 4, OpenJDK 5, OpenJDK 7, OpenJDK 9, and again in 9 there are so many other tags are there. You will find even the OpenJDK 9 Slim like that you will get. Later we'll check what is that Sim. You will find like this, sir. Actually, like how it do. OpenJDK colon 8. You will also get something like OpenJDK colon 8 Slim like this actually. OpenJDK colon 8 hyphen perforce like this. Some image with this name you get actually. There is a various difference between this and this actually. This what happened now if you try to download this OpenJDK 8, right? It has all kind of a N1 variable set, all the pre-dependencies, everything will be there as part of this image. This will be a very bulk image. This could be like this image. It could be something around some 500 MB. Just a second, I'm just saying 500 MB. Now, what is happening that your requirement might come in your company where what is happening that where you need to have a very slim and very thin OpenJDK image. So this could be around some 150 MB. So at that time, what happened, right? Because like your project doesn't require the Docker size to be more. Sometimes what happened, right? You need to even optimize your Docker size also. Whenever you are having a Docker image, right? The Docker image might be having more size actually. Right here, if you do a Docker image, ls, this is might be your web server which is running. This is a web service, but suppose assume that the client says that this is a very large image, sir. I want to optimize it. I don't want this. Then what happened that instead of Ubuntu, you will try to choose Alpine actually. So then what happened that Docker pull, you will use this image. This is also one of the Linux image actually. This could be some few MB like this. See, this is just a 5.6 MB. On top is for this. This is also Linux image. On this 5.6 MB, you will build an application and you will give this image as to the customer. So here you are saving a lot of memory, a lot of Docker size actually, image size. So that's what happened, right? There are a lot of community are there in the Docker Hub. What they will do, no, they will create even a slim image also, slim image. perforce is that suppose that you want to do some performance test you want to do, suppose, in that image. So you can choose this image while pulling, and you can make use of this image. So whatever the performance related activity or whatever the configurations file changes and all which you want to do in this to test it, but you want to get a final ready-made image where all the settings are already there, you want to just do some performance testing activity, then you can just pull that particular image itself. Like that, we have various different types of images available in your Docker Hub. Okay, sir. Now what is happening is that actually, so that's how it is. Now here what is happening that once you do, now what is happening that my web server, this image or whatever you build, you want to basically put into a docker.hub.docker.com. Okay, so basically what is happening that you want to basically push it actually. You want to do a push operation. How to do that actually? Now, for example, if I come here, okay, so basically what I did now, I have already pulled the Alpine. Okay, that is good actually. Now, what is happening that, let me do one thing. See, whenever you are pulling an image, whenever you are pushing an image, so Docker image ls. Now, what is happening is that I can directly, I can push it, but what is happening? Already there is an Alpine already which is existing in your docker.com, right? So that is the official this one, right? This is the official image which is there in your Docker Hub, right? This is an official image actually. But what is happening that even you are also putting the Alpine image with some customization. You cannot use the same name. You want to specify your own tag actually, and that should be a unique tag actually. Like for example, if I push it into the same image, if I push it here, right? If I push it here like this way, Docker push, specify Alpine, specify hub.docker.com, then what is happening that it will throw an error. It means that already this image exists with this name. You cannot push it. So what is happening that before I push to the hub.docker.com, what I have to use, right? I have to specify some tag actually. It means that, okay, this is my customized image, sir. It could be the same name now. But what happened while pushing into the hub.docker.com, it should be some other name, or there should be some tag actually. So what is happening that I'll say Docker. I need to specify tag, sir. So how to do that? Docker, say tag, let's say Alpine. Then I'll do one thing like hub.docker.com / something Alpine. I'm giving some name like this. But what is happening is that this is nothing but your hub.docker.com site name. Why you have to give the site name itself, right? What I can do better, always, right, whenever you are giving any tag and to the image and you want to push that image to your hub.docker.com to the public repository, it is always you need to tag with your name, whatever the Docker name you are, right? What are the Docker login is there? Like Raj Linux is my Docker login, right? The Docker login name is Raj Linux. Let me use this name itself actually. So now what I will do, I'll say Docker Alpine, Docker tag Alpine, and specify something like Raj Linux. That is mine. So this will be unique, right? It will not be same, right? No other person will have the same ID, right? Every person will be having a unique ID, right? For his Docker login, right? Under hub.docker.com. So I will be using that, and I'll say that Alpine. Now you say Docker image ls. Now you could see that you have one more image. No doubt it will be the same size, sir. The same size, because I'm giving one more label. I'm giving one more tag actually. Now what is happening that this Raj Linux / Alpine, this is my image, sir. Now I want to push this image actually. Let us see whether I can push Docker image, right? You want to push it. What you have to push the image? You have to push this Raj Linux / Alpine. This is the image I want to push. Where I want to push? hub.docker.com, because that is a centralized private repository or public repository, right? So what is happening that I'm pushing it, but by default what happened, right? When you do a Docker image push, Raj Linux, you need not to even specify it. It knows already where I have to push it. Now when I run this, do you think that it will push or it will fail? Let us see whether it will do a push or what will happen. Now it says that request is denied, access to resource denied, means that you don't have a login credential itself. It means that you have to first set the login credential. What is the login? How to set it? You have to set Docker login. Now, once you do a Docker login, what is the my Docker login name? Raj Linux. I have to give this. What is the password? I'll give my password. See, login succeeded. Now you could see that once it login succeeded, what it is doing now under the Docker, under the root, it is trying to create one Docker directory. Under that, some config.xml. What is it? We'll see. The root Docker is there. Okay, fine. Open config.json or just a cat. Maybe it might be keeping some encrypted password, username password. See, it is keeping an encrypted username. It is basically keeping an authentication. So basically, this is a JSON file. So it's either index.docker.io. This is what it is, and here this is the username and password. It has been in the encrypted form actually, right? Now I don't think I'll say Docker image ls again. I'll say Docker image push. What will say Raj? Same thing. You have to copy the same thing. Raj Linux, and I'll say ALPINE. So now what happened? It has pushed it. Where it has pushed it? See, Docker IO Raj Linux Alpine. It has pushed it, and this is the ID it is showing. Now come back here to your site. You go to here Raj Linux. Go to the my profile. Now you could see that your image is here. Clear, sir? Image is there. Whenever you want to pull that image, see Docker pull Raj Linux Alpine. Like that, you have to call it in your command line. Then it will going to pull this image. Clear, sir? Any doubts you have?
Rajesh, I have one doubt. See, you defined username and you did Docker login and I specified Docker Hub credential. Okay. So where we are defining that by default, without defining the .com, dockerhub.com, automatically system is understanding that, okay, I have to download, I have to push the code on docker.hub.com, or I have to pull all image from dockerhub.com.
That's what I told you. I will tell you the configuration file, sir. There it is written. io.docker.image.com. Yeah, that it is mentioned. Okay, by default, it has to always look into the hub.docker.com itself. Always. There's a configuration file. Otherwise, how it will know that from where it has to get connected, right?
Yeah. Because
so I think always. So here, what is happening that without your login credential, now you got to know that without your login credential, you will not be able to push the image, right? You have to first say Docker login. This is an important thing. So people will ask in interview, you have created an image, sir. Can you directly push that image to your account? No, sir, it will throw an error. Then what to do? You have to first do a Docker login and then provide your credentials. Okay. And then do a push image, it will push it. So once you push it, you could see that it is coming. You can push as number of you can. Here you can. Right? So here your image is there actually. So if you want to delete the image also, you can do it actually. You can go to the same image here. You can say manage repository. Come here at the down. You have to go to the settings. Here, come delete repository. You have to give that image ALPINE. Now you have to set it. Now it has got deleted. Now you see, come here, again refresh it. Now you see that it has gone. Again, you want to push it, sir. Again, come, refresh it. What happened? Yeah, I pushed it. Now it has come. Clear, sir? So to remove it, go to this, go to the manage repository, go to the settings, come down here, this setting, and give the same name here, whatever you have, right? Same name you have to give. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. What to do now? Shall we stop it here, or we'll continue? What you say? Because now next topic will be a Docker volume. Till here we started only the basic things. Okay. So from now onwards, we have a Docker volume and we have see here what is happening that here you are making it as a public repository, right? You are actually pushing your image into the public repository. So what is happening that your image is available to everyone. Anybody can download image. Suppose assume that in your company you're sitting, there are scenarios like this, right? Like you are sitting, you are in your company. What is happening that you are having a Bangalore office, your company. This is a Bangalore office, and this is a UK office, and this is nothing but your US office, right? And then what is happening is that actually you are actually building your own customized image, Docker image, right? So how you write a customized image? I told you that you need to basically write a Docker file. So we will learn that how to write a Docker file. So to write a Docker file, so basically you're trying to create an image with the help of a Docker file. After that, what is happening that you have an image, and that image, if you want to share across your company branches, like some other person engineer, he's sitting in the UK branch and US branch, even they want your image actually. Now, what is happening that if you take that image and if you push that image into a hub.docker.com, what will happen? This image will be visible to everyone, right? Because it's a public repository. And even though you can push that image, you can pull. By the time when you push it, if some other person will pull it and he will make use of that image. Person is making use of it. So that should not happen, right? Or either what you can do that actually you can go with the private repository of your docker.com. For that you need to pay the money. But what is happening that it depends upon how many number of pull and push you're doing. So if you are getting into the corporate level where you want to attempt some 500 pull and push, you have to go with a bigger plan for that. Instead of that, what the company is doing, right? The companies are setting up their own private repository. So here, suppose assume that here Rajesh is sitting in a Bangalore office. Now in my machine, what happened, right? I can create a private repository like this. How to do that, we will see later. I have to create a private repository. How to create a private repository like this. After I create a private repository, what will happen that I can push my image or I can keep my image under my private repository here. Once I push the image into my private repository, I can give access to this private repository even to the UK guy, even to this UK guy, or even to the US people also. So it means that whenever they want to access the image which I have developed, right? Like I have developed my image. So what these people, the US people or the UK people can do, the UK office can do, they can pull it actually. They can use a pull. It means that I have to give a permission to these people. How to do that, everything we will see in the next. So here what is happening that I am trying to use some private repository here. Using with the help of private repository. So it means that you are in your network and you don't have an access to hub.docker.com. The company network doesn't have any access to hub.docker.com because this is a centralized repository. This is outside your network. And in any case, you say that, okay, all these three offices should not do any push or pull or should not even use the hub.docker.com image. It means that you are actually creating your own customized image and you want to share between your company branches, then you need to set up a private repository. So there are two things in a private repository. You can create a private repository. Sometimes what is happening that you have to access to the local HTTP. But what is happening is that whenever you are sitting outside, you are into a different network, and this US guy, a developer, he want to pull the image actually. Then your private repository should support for HTTPS. So to support for HTTPS, you should have a certificate. Suppose assume that in your Bangalore image itself, Rajesh is sitting here, right? Rajesh is sitting here in the same office next to me. Shivam is sitting here. Naresh is sitting here. They can pull locally this image because this private image I have set it by local network itself. So I can use HTTPS to connect to this. It means that to connect, I don't want to have any secure protocol. I can do HTTPS to connect to my secure private repository and pull the image whatever Rajesh has developed. But if you come outside the network because you are in a different network, US people or UK people, They are sitting in the office. They are having a different network. So of course there has to be a VPN connection should be there between each and every office, right? But whenever you are trying to pull any email from outside network, then you have to use the HTTPS. So you need to enable HTTPS means you have to install the certificates, CR certificates, you say CACR or domain certificate, you have to install it. Once you do a domain certificate installation, then these people can pull that image using HTTPS protocol. So this is also one of the lab exercises we will be doing in the next upcoming classes. So you got the scenario right, sir? What is it? So it means that most of the companies, right, they don't use the hub.docker.com because that is a public repository, and for maintaining for the private repository, it is too costly. Hence, what happened that people opt for creating their own private repository in their own companies, and they will do some settings and all so that it can be make use within our company organization between different branches or between different branch people. This can be shared. So this is much more. Here you need not to pay any licensing cost. No cost is required here. And you are developing your own customer's image so that actually your image cannot be hacked or cannot be used by some other person. Correct, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sir. That's all. That's all, sir. Any doubts you have till here?
That is why when you are going for lab, when you are explaining lab next, I think next session or something. So you are going to download CR certificate and all.
We will create, sir. By using OpenSSL, we will create it. See here, I have
Okay.
written all the steps here. See, these are all the steps, sir. See, either you can make use of the certificates which are provided. Suppose you go to the godaddy.com, right? You can download a certificate. You can actually purchase a certificate and you can use that certificate. Or else you want to create a very simple certificate, you can use an OpenSSL. OpenSSL, you have to install it, sir. You have to install it, and this is a command you have to use actually. And here, some of the things you have to do it here. These are all the manual steps you have to do, sir. Once you enable it, then you can do all those things. Whatever I told you, right? You can with the help of HTTPS, actually you can pull any kind of image within your private repository from outside a network. So this is basically some steps. Clear, sir?
Yes, Rajat.
So I'll be sharing this information also to you guys. Okay. So set up the private repository, certificates. Wait, I should put it here or I put it in our
I think put on Skype, Rajesh bhai, that would be fine. I think that will be in one track.
Yeah. No, you can put it there also.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's all, sir. Okay. I think we can stop the session recording. Somebody can stop it.
Yeah, let me stop it.